Why does nobody care about the Giants? See, you don't have to go far back when they owned this town. The Giants owned this town in 10 through 15.
All right.
In 10 through 15, the Giants owned this town. And then the Warriors. Like, that's another thing that, hey, I got bad news for the Giants. Unfortunately, right now you're in a market with two really good other pro teams, and you are wanting. The Warriors have won 4 titles and are one of the most exciting teams in sports. The Niners have been to the NFC Championship 3 or 4 years. And the Giants, they're just kind of stale.
But it's their fault.
When you say they?
Whoever's responsibility.
Do you think it's the manager's fault that this is a 500 team? I'm trying to get to the bottom of this. See, I think Farhan Zaidi assembled a team that's about what they are. Like, I don't think this is a 90-win team that's underachieved. I think they're an 80-win team, and now they got to figure out how to get back up to 90.
Your question is nuanced. I appreciate it, but you tell me if I'm wrong. For a lot of this season, I thought, you know what? You are right. Gabe ain't working with a lot. And they were overachieving. But I also thought they were overachieving because of Gabe and what was going on in the clubhouse and the one-on-one talks. But now I read the Baggerly piece where they're playing Pasoy. They turned the clubhouse into a casino. And then also another story in The Athletic, Evan, I forget who wrote it, Spadoni, about the Giant players having a lack of confidence. Like, was there a confidence problem? So that tells me there's a lack of leadership if those things are true. So 2 years ago, 2 years ago, Steiny, they were good enough. Last year they finished 500, but this has been a complete, not choke job. You said something yesterday, I can't remember, a fall off. Like nobody saw the way that this season ended, so somebody's got to be at blame. And then when I find out your best players telling us what's happening behind closed doors, I could say, oh, this is why they're, not playing up to their potential. Because they're too busy focused or not focused on the right stuff. And you got a manager who you're saying can't come past a certain line in the clubhouse. I'd have been all up in there like, man, what
Kapler's
do you
a player's
need from
manager.
Me?
Kapler is a player's manager. He
If you like to play poker.
No, I mean, he just...
Because you don't get checked.
He's not a red ass. He's not. He just did, like, the flip the spread thing.
Yeah, I love that.
Why? But then you know what? Hire a guy who flips the spread. Don't hire a guy who doesn't flip the spread.
Maybe you need to now.
Okay, well then go hire a guy. In fact, Kapler's the kind of guy that would not flip a spread because he doesn't want a reputation as a guy who flips a spread. He works his ass off to not flip a spread. So if you want to flip the spread flipped,
all right,
hire a spread flipper.
I got you. All right, chalk one up for spread flipper. But do you want to be a manager that is known for not being able to police your clubhouse, where now it's out that guys are playing Pasoy? Like that, to me, that's more embarrassing, Steiny.
See, I think we got to be very. This is where I'm not disagreeing.
Get your house in order.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but here's where I do think we got to be a little bit careful.
Talk to him.
Damn, cards in the clubhouse have been going on for 100 years. Baseball players play cards. They do.
But 3 of them, obviously 3 of your best players, your better players, tried to get a message to the rest of
Carew if he was familiar with the Filipino card game, Pasoy.
Okay. Sonny, if it was dominoes, I get it, but up into a certain, if I got 3 guys in the clubhouse saying we might be losing or not performing high optimum level because we're not focused, I'm okay with the game. But you got to put it away. And it sounds like Jock Peterson and whoever, a majority of the guys, didn't respect their manager. Because if you did, Steiny, you would have got what Flores, Estrada, and who was the other one trying to tell him?
Yes.
And plus...
By the way, why is Tyro Estrada calling a team meeting? He's 27.
He wants to win.
But he's 27.
What does that mean?
Where's Brandon Crawford? Hello?
Is he gambling?
Hello?
Is he gambling?
Well, I don't know, but clearly Brandon Crawford is in that clubhouse.
Well,
I thought he was a leader. And
That's a great
I'm not
question.
saying he's not. Maybe Brandon Crawford checked out.
You could be right. But
I don't
he's
know.
the least of their problems. You forget the gambling, forget the magic trick. You got to go get players. And what did Logan Webb mean by big? Do you think we're going to find out, or is this going to continue?
I think he meant roster turnover. That's what I think he meant by big
They need
changes.
that, too. They need a lot.
Here's Dave Fleming. He was on with the Morning Roast talking about the Giants. What's going on in that clubhouse, Flem?
That when we go around the league, people still look at the Giants, in fact, in some ways more than they ever have, as a team that goes out of its way to make players and their families feel comfortable. And, frankly, I believe, now this is probably an unpopular opinion, but I personally believe that actually the Giants have to spend some time this offseason wondering if they've gone too far in that regard. I don't want this to come across as like me sitting up 500 feet removed from the playing field and not realizing how hard it is what those guys do. But in some ways, the Giants have made it so comfortable for everybody that it is a very comfortable group right now. This is not an edgy Giants team at all. It's an extremely sort of even-keeled, nice guy team. And if I were in charge, I think I would be spending some time this offseason wondering whether all the stuff that we're doing to make players feel comfortable has taken away a little bit of what you might need to compete once the game starts at the very highest level.
Dave Fleming, on with the Morning Roast. Voice of the Giants, saying that the Giants have created an atmosphere that is so team-friendly and so welcoming and accommodating that they're not edgy anymore. That's what it sounds like to me. Or they're you know what? Remember when the Warriors brought in PJ Carlissimo and they had the slogan, "No more Mr. Nice Guys," because the previous general manager was a gentleman named Dave Twardzik, and he was a guy who believed in drafting high character guys, and they didn't win, and so everybody then mocked Twardzik for going with players that were true professionals,
but not better at that than the hoop.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So what I hear Dave Fleming saying is maybe we need some more jerks in here. Jerks as in a positive jerk.
But you also need a dude that can get a runner home for second.
Well, and that's my point. They need a lot of things.
No doubt.
So, again, they need a lot of things. So that's why 78 and 80 is about right. It's right to me. When they were 54 and 41, I was like,
I was buying.
I mean, they were catching a lot of lightning in the bottle to the point where we did make a reference to 2021.
You did. You're right.
And how a lot of things were going right. The other thing is, when do you know you have a good team, or when do you have a team that isn't a real Giants are 54 and 41. I wonder if Gabe Kapler and Farhan were thinking, we're not this good. We're not. We're going to come down to earth. I don't know.
Well, 2021 they didn't.
I know. And that's, you know what? And that's a factor
51
here.
and 41. What did you just say? 57 and 41? That's 98 games.
54.
Oh,
54. They were 54 and 41.
That's 95.
Yep. Just barely over half a season. About 55, 60%.
Okay. Let me just rebuttal here. All right, you call Farhan in the office. You say, you know what? It's year 6. Why do we need a lot? Because that's what you said. This team needs a lot. It's one thing to say, okay, the youngsters, we got a good look. Let's put it together. Let's mesh it. Let's make it mesh. Steiny, for you to sit here in his tenure, because this is not year 1 or 2 for Farhan, and say they still need a lot, that's a problem.
Well, I think what he would – I mean, listen, I'll just tell you what he would probably tell you is that when I got here, we had no farm system. So you don't turn around a farm system in 1 year. In fact, it takes 3 or 4 years. Well, now I'm in my 5th year,
okay,
and we have young players that we expect to play next year. So the farm system has yielded some results. We hope they'll be ascending players next year. Okay, what else? Well, we got to do a better job getting free agents.
Right.
There's no doubt. We had Correa. I had Correa, but management said he's hurt.
How did Haniger work out? How did Conforto work out?
Yeah, and we took a shot at those guys. Some years you take shots at guys, it works. Like 2 years ago when we won 107. Sometimes it doesn't. And this year it didn't. We got to look to get better. That's what I would say if I were Farhan.
Well, I'll tell you, this thing is not trending for them to be 16th in fan attendance next year, 15th. It's going the other way, Steiny. And last night, whatever Brebbia was doing, they're just boys. This ain't the bar.
By the way, Lorenzo Neal,
Lolo,
joining us at noon, nominated for the Pro Hall of Fame again this year. He also is the host of the Kickoff Show. So we're getting into some football at noon. And then at 1 o'clock, Chris Rose. We will take a tour around the sports world with Chris Rose. He's the host of NFL Network's Game Day Final. He's also the host of the Chris Rose Rotation podcast and Baseball Today for John Boy Media. So Chris Rose is a sportsman, and he knows a lot about sports. The San Francisco Giants were eliminated last night.
But they've been eliminated in a lot of people's minds.
They have been.
The way that they've been playing.
Steiny, we need sluggers. We need hitters.
Darrell Evans.
We need pitchers.
Jack Clark. Kevin Mitchell.
Maybe we have to just realize that free agent hitters don't want to come here.
Make them want to come here.
How?
Make the girl want to dance with you.
That doesn't work.
Nah, it does. You talk to them.
The only way you can make a girl dance with you is...
Well, after you get you know what I mean.
She doesn't want to. Like, I want a woman who wants to dance with me. I don't want to get a woman who I'm going to get, and she's going to be like, I don't really want to be with this guy, but he's got a lot of money, so I'll just take the money and be with Steiny.
Well, closed mouth don't get fed. You don't know until you try.
They have tried.
See what's up with Trout, his availability. Throw everything at the wall. Sales 101.
But they did that to Judge, and they didn't get him.
Ooh, and we thought he was coming.
Who did?
The station.
No, they didn't. Nobody with a scintilla.
We were on Steiny. I remember you going home telling you, JD, we had him on. I remember this. I throw you under the bus after your birthday. You're like, I think it could happen. Like,
it could happen.
Yeah, but the Judge was here.
No,
we were
wasn't.
excited. Come on.
Goo, this is what you can't do this.
But admit you thought the baby might be coming.
No.
With Judge.
No.
Tibbs and Willard were in Linden.
So what does that have to do with anything?
Because I heard you say there's a possibility he might choose the Giants. I think about
there was a 5% chance.
Those words came out of your mouth.
That's right. There's a sliver of a possibility.
And I was, and all I'm telling you is I was you times 10 thinking he's going to pick him. So
why do you think they're going to get Trout? Why do you think they're going to get Mike Trout?
I didn't say I think. Go see if it's feasible.
Goo, this is where you got to take the rose-colored glasses off.
Okay, Steiny.
This is not the Golden State Warriors and Kevin Durant. You're going to go get Kevin Durant.
Right.
This isn't even the Niners, and we're going to go get Deion Sanders and Charles Haley.
You're missing my point.
Nobody wants to play here. That's what it sure seems like.
A bad salesman doesn't sit at his desk. He goes out and still gets no for an answer all day, every day, because he's trying to keep his job.
Isn't that what's happening?
I'm not telling you that. I'm telling you, go knock on every door. I don't care if you think nobody's going to answer. Go knock on every door.
See, now this is where I'd fight you. They have knocked on doors. They knocked on Bryce Harper's door. He closed it in their face. They talked about knocking on Stanton's door. Him too.
Dude.
I heard Brian in Palo Alto called this morning, our main man.
Well, you'd have to trade for Trout.
Fine. Go ahead and trade for him.
And that's what I just throw everything at the wall.
That's a more realistic option, is trading for guys as opposed to banking on signing guys in free agency. I mean, how many times do we have to get scorned by a baseball player in the Bay to stop counting on that?
Okay, so Steiny, you know what? I just read a text from
I'm saying we.
Yeah.
We can't count on the Giants signing free agents.
What would Steiny, Comcast business text line, it's what I was thinking. What should they do then?
I told you what I thought they should do.
Give it to me one more time.
How many young guys are on this? First of all,
they got like 6 or 7.
First of all,
right?
what they can do right now is only what they can do right now because everything that's happened has led up to this point. Like, they can't pull the plug. I mean, if they want to, they can pull the plug on Farhan and Kapler, but I don't see how it gets any better quickly at that point. I don't know that it can get better quickly at all. The reality is this year, they did play a lot of young players, but what happened? They didn't play them enough for a lot of fans. Why didn't they play them enough? Well, because they were hanging around the playoff race, and they had veteran players, and they felt like they owed it to the veteran players, and they want to rebuild and try to win at the same time. And they couldn't pull it off this year. They didn't pull it off. So this free agent thing, I believe it's real because all I have is evidence. So I'm going to assume that we're not going to be able to sign Ohtani. That doesn't mean we're not going to try, but that can't be plan A because plan A has never worked for this franchise. Go ahead and make a run at Ohtani. Maybe you get him. Maybe he becomes that first guy that comes here. But you better have backup plans. That's all I'm saying to the free agent route. Steiny, stop saying no big hitters want to come here. You don't know. You don't know big hitters. You don't know that for a fact. Yes, there's been a brand. Well, see, and this is where 628. I'm going to go with the evidence. Like you're right. You're right. You don't know hitters don't want to come here. Okay, but I also know they haven't signed a big boy hitter in a while. And I do believe there's something with this ballpark that dissuades hitters from coming here. That's all. Yeah. So here's the other thing. Then why don't they try to sign 2 frontline pitchers? If it's a pitcher's ballpark, why don't you?
Well, you had one, and you identified DeSclafani being better than Gausman, and you let him go, and he's doing just fine. So I don't know if they can make the right choice or what that looks like. Like, I'm second-guessing that. I'm second-guessing everything. That's all. But 54 and 41, Steiny, in my world, I thought, like you said, it's more than halfway, a little more than halfway. I thought 107, not the total, just the good juju and the formula that the Giants had was resonating again. I never once knew that this team, we would read a report to where some guys on the team are playing poker and not focused. And even after 3 of the other everyday players tried to say, hey, guys, maybe you might need to stop doing this so we can have better results maybe. Like that takes on a whole nother, the train is off the track, Jack.
888-957-9570 is the number you want to jump into the conversation. And Carlos Correa. Where does he fit into this? If you're a Giants fan, do you look at Correa as another one who got away?